Going to be interesting what Weibo bans. They could ban Jace. They could ban Rumble. Shanji has played a ton of Rumble, so if they give that over to him, I would not be surprised to see NIP first pick it, but it does get banned, so
Okay.
no surprise there.
All right, NIP, what is our first pick here? I'm looking at some of these champions. I am thinking Poppy in particular might get some extra value in terms of the flex. It is a three-way flex for this team. If you're trying to just secure an 80 carry, I think that you really can't go wrong with things like the Ezreal or the Corki, but we're getting Shanji, or we're getting Aki's Sinsao very early on, so getting some good skirmish junglers as well as kind of limiting some of Tian's pool, though he has been someone that has really started to branch out as we gone further through the year.
Yeah, not entirely concerned there. He's played a lot of the meta ones like, Lee Sin, Viego, all those champions, right? And even Wukong earlier in the year when that was a thing. But we are going to see the R1 Yorick come through for Breathe. So he is going to look to be the menace and pull NIP apart at the joints.
Okay. So Weibo are probably going to need a team composition that is able to operate 4v5 at the very least by themselves. I'm real quick diving into Breathe's match history. He has played Yorick. He is 4-0 on the champion. Similar to Bin, has only played it in the LDL back in 2019 spring. So
Throwback.
should be interesting to see how he pilots this 6 years later. And for NIP, I mean, you're looking at an Ezreal across from you. Misfortune, like I was saying in a couple of our other games, has a much easier time of being able to bully both in the lane and talking about mid-priority. But I think I'd prefer almost a Jhin. It does kind of suffer,
Yeah.
but just the high amount of burst damage that you have, and I think the setup is just so much more important when we're talking about contributing to NIP.
Yeah, and being able to ensure that you're able to get picks if Weibo is playing as 4 and Breathe is split pushing, that could really get things going. But instead, the burden of execution is actually going to be pretty high. But I anticipate that NIP will shore things up. We're going to see a Mordekaiser as their final pick for the first half of the picks and bans. I don't really know much about the Mordekaiser into Yorick matchup.
Oh, Shanji, you are cooking, brother. We are cooking. I am just gonna real quick. So this is another one where like the way that I kind of see the game is like I've obviously played like almost every single one of these champions. I feel like I have a okay understanding of mechanical of like what they're trying to do and stuff.
Right.
In theory, the way that this works is Shanji should be able to have extended trades where he's able to fight him because of the passive, as well as the double damage that the Q does if you're isolated. It's a bit tougher to do when there's a maiden, but does give them the access of, hey, if you're going to come into these fights 4v5, then we can maybe kind of lessen some of these numbers and use that Death Realm. Going to be very interesting to see what NIP are cooking here, as they already kind of have the makings of a team fight composition with the Xin and this Misfortune, but Weibo, I think, have really solid ways of delaying and stopping NIP from approaching with Justice Ezreal and Maokai alone.
Yeah, we'll see if NIP goes with something that kind of ties the room together. I'd like an Orianna here for them, maybe. You're already kind of forced into double AP, but just something that gives you a little bit more team fight presence. Maybe some extra ability to catch out members. But yeah, as you said, it's going to be really difficult to lock down this Weibo Gaming composition with all of their disengaged. But then, of course, you could pivot. If you're advantaged, you could use this Maokai to start a fight, as, it will be the final ban. We're just awaiting what Weibo is going to go with next.
All right. Well, probably looking for a support here and giving Xiaohu last pick up against Doinb. I think that is completely reasonable. Typically, we would see support counter on 5, but with, I think, the fact that you are playing against Doinb, he is going to always try to cook up something a little bit special for you. So in terms of this MF, I feel like Leave has been left out to dry in this one, because if this isn't like a Leona, I feel like it is incredibly tough for you to actually get that team fight down. And Now you're going to be playing against a Maokai and a Rel who are walking straight at you. We're going to need to see something that's going to not only provide frontline, but also stop them. We're getting a Victor here from the side of Doinb. Okay, I like this up against Weibo. I think it's a bit tough to play against Maokai Ezreal, but I think this is a pretty reasonable matchup. I wonder if Xiaohu is just going to be trying to go for either his Aurora or maybe go something a little bit more long range.
Yeah, this is going to be good. The Gravity Well is going to do a lot to try and stop Weibo from continuing their engages, and it is one of Doinb's most played all time. Good call there, as the Aurora will come through for Xiaohu. So looking for that a little bit of extra damage, maybe burst somebody out if Tian goes in with his W.
Yeah. All right. So 3 and 4 items, 2 or 3 items, that kind of like idea space. So like 28 to 35 minutes. NIP are probably going to be feeling incredibly strong. I would say that Victor has a very easy time of being able to one-shot or get through an entire team fight and potentially win this game by himself, but it all comes down to Erha and Tian. If they can make his positioning a living hell, it is going to be very difficult for Weibo to actually play this game out and get away from the Victor, especially once those slows come on through. So how they're able to accelerate, if they're able to play around this Aurora, who should be able to bully around a really good laning mage like Victor, I'm going to be very, very keyed in for Weibo on how they're able to grab objectives and how they do set up, because just alone with Maokai and Rel, you should have an easy enough time being able to walk into a lot of these objectives.
Without a doubt, should be pretty free, and if somebody mispositions over on the side of NIP, you have the damage to back you up, right? Ezreal will get a little bit of damage once he gets his Sheen, and then obviously getting into the Triforce and the Monomune, right? But that Aurora is really going to be the one that you pointed out. It's going to be doing a ton of damage, too much damage in my opinion, but that's beside the point. You could just easily get free kills that way, right? So got to be really, really careful if you're NIP. Don't want to make too many mistakes to allow yourself to scale into the game to the point where maybe you don't have to worry about that.
And we're heading into game 2 here. Weibo, with a negative win rate so far in Split 2, are looking to get their second series win. While NIP, a win here puts them in top 3 contention. Very early on into the split, they'd be kind of sharing a spot with JDG and BLG, but obviously need this win here today if they want any chance of that being the case. They have to win this game as well as the next.
Yep, it's always going to be important. Remember, it is a double round robin, so there are plenty more League of Legends games on the horizon, but every single one against a team that is perceived as a top team really counts. It's a real big feather in your cap and makes you feel good. No matter how poor Weibo's been performing, you take a look, Breathe, Tian, Xiaohu, Light, guys like that are guys that are battle-tested, that are really, really good players, and a win over them just feels good.
Even trade there. I would have thought that maybe Shanji would have gone for a longer trade just because he does have the Conqueror, and you really don't want to go for short trades versus Yorick, but okay. We're getting a 5-point start here, not too much in terms of invades. This is going to be Weibo's bot lane getting access to this wave first. As you can see, they're trying to kind of sneak in, get underneath, and take control of the wave. NIP will get early vision. It's spotted here by Tian, and Aki probably going to get spotted as well here, so junglers will be having full information.
Now, with the way these champions operate, the Xin Zhao and the Maokai, the ability to, from a level 2 to level 3 onward, make an impact in some of these lanes and make some ganks happen. You anticipating maybe that some visits are paid toward this bottom side because of these engaged supports?
Well, considering Xin Zhao is pathing away from this lane, I think he is probably not a... later, maybe. But personally, I would really actually like to see a lot of action around mid lane. If you can get free kills on the AD carries or their supports, that's great, but being able to destabilize Xiaohu and this Victor is going to be more important for being able to push the game. And already we're kind of seeing that Xiaohu, despite having... he has the Electrocute rune, and he's already down 30% of his 30% of his HP. Now, Victor is a lane bully, or at least more of a lane bully than a lot of other control mages, but what the hell, man?
Yeah, off to quite a bad start here. Is Xiaohu getting even lower? Like this is really, really bad for Xiaohu. Doinb is going to town. Said no. You know what? I'm gonna play Lucian passively and Victor hyper aggressively.
He had to waste a lot of his mana, so right now there's a small win for Doinb. How much time he's going to be allowed to spend in this lane is kind of up to whether or not Xiaohu actually is able to press him on the fact that he has very low resources. But with Aki now crossing into his top side, now also grabbing access to... now grabbing access onto, you know, the blue buff in this top side, there is a very real possibility that we get that access, or the entrance into mid lane from Aki and trying to, you know, destabilize this matchup.
Looks like he's going to head to the top grab. Tian going to grab the bottom one. No surprise there. Doinb at about half HP. As you mentioned, was low on mana before. Did not get a chance to back. So Xiaohu should have some opportunity to shove him in. Maybe move around or maybe make him miss a wave.
Trying to see Mordekaiser OTPs. Who are Mordekaiser OTPs that are famous?
I don't actually know, man. It doesn't feel like too many people play that champion religiously and like stream and are famous for the champion, you know? Even though it just got an exalted skin.
That's true. Well,
is he not playing the exalted skin, by the way?
I don't think he is. I think he's playing the evil project skin, Project Mordekaiser.
Hang on. Evil things might be happening in this mid lane. The destabilization has started. The question is, will it be successful? Xiaohu gets engaged on, hops over the wall. Aki looking to stay with him. Flash for flash. Wind becomes lightning,
Ooh.
but unable to dash.
Okay, but those are both summoners down. Aki's going to help his mid laner push the wave. And that'll just be Doinb taking a recall and getting himself either a lost chapter or a couple of components here. So Tian going to be finishing up his full clear and having a lot of gold. Probably going to get at least either Haunting Guys or the Faded Ashes. Not bad.
Yeah, all in all, pretty good. As we all know, Faded Ashes does wonders for helping you clear out your jungle camps. Get quite a bit of a bump in speed for that. Tian, level 5, once you hit level 6, of course, you have that opportunity to drop these ultimates down, maybe make some plays, but again, you know, it seems like this is going to be a bit of a slow burn for Weibo, especially because it's going to take a little bit of time for Light to get online, and, you know, Xiaohu, the damage is there, sure, but it's just being a little risky at that point. So the Grubs will be up in about 35 seconds, and this Dragon untouched so far.
Okay. So right now what we're seeing from Weibo is with their bottom lane continuing to be in that lane, it seems like NIP are way more focused on getting some of these topside objectives. Getting Grubs away from a team with the Yorick is something that is potentially a win condition like we saw in the series earlier up against WE and BLG. But being able to kind of use this Misfortune Leona combo is pretty deadly. This GV2 can kind of take a lot of solo top laners by surprise. Breathe will now have the Maiden of the Mist. So, gonna be early action on this top side as now Aki is starting up the Rift Herald. There's gonna be the Grubs, I should say, as Dragon's being traded for Tian. Maybe there's a play onto this Mordekaiser, but Mordekaiser ultimate makes this way more difficult than it does for Yorick.
Yeah, without a doubt. Hopefully, Weibo realizes that and doesn't do something silly, as they will not to do much of anything. They'll just head into the mid lane here, 3 strong, as the Grubs are finished up on the top side. Breathe stuck in the 2v1, but not under too much pressure, as they have not positioned for a dive ready.
Okay, so taking a look at the map right now, the 3 Grubs does favor NIP early with their ability to actually hit turrets, and maybe once Xiaohu has finished his first item, he'll have a bit of time on the power spike to actually deal damage. Oh, Light.
Light is out of the top room. He's going to flash, but Shanji's going to flash right after him and pick up first blood.
I hope Hong's watching in the background like, see?
That's dastardly,
That's just alone time. That's just alone time. Like, he just misses his whole wave. I I hope we get a picture-in-picture as to what the hell happened there, because there's just no reason for him to be getting... Oh,
Leave?
Tian's here. Tian's ulting.
Oh, here we go. Teleport coming in as well. Leave is going to get rooted up. Has to deal with the ghouls in the backside. Era flashing in. Shanji is here. ppgod ignited, getting lower and lower, but they don't really have any opportunity to re-engage. Tian trying to get closer, trying to use his W to root up Shanji. A lot of damage coming through.
Oh my God, Shanji!
There too, but it's not enough, and they run out of damage. ppgod can't do it all, and Weibo get 2.
They get 2 kills for free. They even crashed his turret, so it ends up being good for Breathe here. Massive mistake coming in from NIP, and overextension of the play means that while trying to get Leave out of that situation, they give over 2 kills and, you know, not bad participants to grab them.
Here we go.
Is this literally just, he just lands a, okay, so he gets the double damage Q. He gets the E.
What? No shot.
So, okay. Usually, there's a fun interaction where if you're out of vision, if Mordekaiser loses vision on you, you cannot be ulted. Twitch players love abusing this. It's very funny. We just take a look at replay again, and now we're back to, I'm looking at picture-in-picture right now, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, wow, we used all of our summoner spells. Shanji had already lost Flash trying to kill Light. ppgod, just let him die, bro. Just leave.
Yeah.
What? Like, why are we even pressing E here? It's so troll.
I think ppgod saw the damage and was like, "You got more of that, right?" It's like, brother, my abilities are on cooldown, friend.
Yeah.
I cannot get the skill.
All right.
Rough stuff for NIP, but Aki maybe looking to revisit Xiaohu here. His flash is still down for just a couple of moments. He's gonna try to hop away, and he will dodge out of the wind. Becomes lightning. Nothing doing there for Aki either, and so far it's been quite quiet out of the NIP jungler.
Woodcrab spawning in a minute 2 before that dragon. And I'm kind of looking at this. Tian can make a play towards the bottom side of the map. They have a lot of vision invested towards this side. And, I mean, Leave's already half HP. I don't see why not. I mean, Urha on this wave also is going to hit level 6 here. So, going to be a pretty good spot for them if Weibo want to look for it. Instead, they're going to peel back, maybe do some more of their camps, and potentially be ready for the grubs spawning in 30 seconds like I had just noted. Already 3 going over to NIP. You want to try to avoid giving more of those Void Mites over.
Yeah, it'll be a big problem because Victor, you know, known good side laner, as well as Mordekaiser. Not sure if any of them will be able to match what Breathe is able to do in a side lane later on, but the other one shouldn't have too many issues.
Okay. So, we're kind of in this weird part of the game where 10.5 minutes, Weibo feel like they haven't really accomplished much on their own, more so being reactive, but I'm kind of okay with that, especially for a team that is so well adept at being able to receive ganks as well as kind of play vision very, very well, with Maokai and Aurora kind of being able to be very deceptive in that way. So we'll be 4 grubs going over to Aki. Urha is sitting over the pit in case he needs to be here, but kind of with Doinb and ppgod as a 2v2, this is very difficult for Weibo to walk into.
Yeah, no chance there. Ezreal's up top, York's on the bottom side, so giving away those grubs, and we'll see if it does come back to bite them. We're going to see an ultimate get used.
Tian?
Flash as well. ppgod with a snappy engage, and Tian is just dead.
Wow. That was incredible, and now Doinb's going to be able to go bot. He'll be able to catch this wave. It still will be plates going over to Breathe. But good enough find for NIP. Opens up the map. Also lets them grab this dragon as well. So while they won't be able to use the grubs immediately, I think is a really smart play and a great engage coming out from ppgod.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff. You got to get picks like that in order to really take control of the game, and because of that, this does mean that NIP will be able to pick up their first dragon for themselves and not allow Weibo to get that stacking started early.
All right, we do have to escort our jungler out of this pit, however.
Oh, no.
We
no.
will before he will just have to flash. Okay, cool. So he gets it out of the way first. I like it. Look, he's new to the stage. Every support, I feel like a lot of sports would have done that. I feel like that was 100%. A Vampire engage. Like, Vampire could have done that. We would have been like, oh, you know, it's Vampire. Urha's new.
Vampire out here catching strays, man. surely there has to be
That was a
somebody
direct.
else, right?
That was a direct, bro.
Yeah,
I called him out.
Yeah,
It's not like I was like, there's certain WE supports that would, do that. Yeah.
I
got my hung joke in earlier, so.
This is true. You did get the hung joke.
So.
Levis doubling up on Xiaohu, forcing him away. And right now for NIP, they have to be pretty content with how the game is going. Although Breathe does look a little strong, has good CS. And hold on a minute.
What is Tian doing?
Has to blow his ultimate. Yeah, like what is going on here? That was very silly. You can see on his camera too. He's not exactly happy.
Hey, he had a little sigh. He's like, alright, my bad, guys. He just gets caught out there. I mean, maybe expecting Xiaohu to TP mid, but the timer's just not there. Erha also wasn't in the area, so quite confusing. It does also mean that they lose the Maokai ultimate during all of this, so at least for the next minute and a half, it's going to be a tough ask for Weibo to find long-range engages. It's going to have to be a pretty short-ranged fight if they want any kind of usefulness out of the Rel or the Maokai. And for NIP, that's just more kills going over to them, kind of accelerating some of their game plan, their ability to scale as this game goes on. Really, just in terms of their champions, it's really just Doinb on this Victor. Misfortune's always going to be very potent, but her skill ceiling is rather low in comparison to something like an Ezreal on the opposite side.
Yeah, as long as Leave is able to set his feet, that's all you really need, and you will be able to make a large impact in fights, whereas Light is going to have a high burden of execution. But NIP, as the plates go down, only one plate over Weibo, but you know what, that's okay. The real prize will be if you're able to get on these turrets. Any opportunity where Weibo mismanages a side wave means that this turrets are going to either go down or take heavy damage, which is
we also
always
haven't seen NIP actually use these 6 grubs, right? They haven't had time. A lot of this has been spent on, hey, we're making a pick in mid, like onto Tian, whether it was on the top side near River or on the bottom side River like we just saw when he was by himself. They got good damage onto Xiaohu, but after that, because they went over into Tian, he actually basically stopped them from hitting the turret. And we have been kind of talking referentially about Breathe on this Yorick. It's going to be a little bit before we actually get to see too much. Finally, NIP will be able to grab themselves the first turret in the game. And that should also give them, or they already had feat strength, so feeling pretty good about their spot. Now they've got Herald in a minute. As long as they can get some recalls in, I really think that NIP should be focusing on getting this Herald. You have 6 grubs already. You basically blow up the game if you drop this objective.
Yeah, you are looking at almost guaranteed to get 1 turret. Maybe you end up getting 2, depending on what the situation calls for. Doinb looking to shove off Erha here. It looks like the entirety of NIP deploying near the bottom side right now. Doinb will match Xiaohu on the bottom side as ppgod is hanging around his jungler.
Okay. Doinb, like we were saying, should be getting more of those Victor bucks. I hope we get longer times of clicking on his target frame so I can see if his ability icons are upgraded. Yeah. Not particularly the most clear. It's not like we had the old upgraded perfect hex score thing.
Exactly.
The item. That item was terrible. I feel really bad for all the Victor players. I thought it was very unique, but
it was cool, yeah.
It was cool, it just kind of sucked. And then they buffed it and made it way too OP, and I was like, okay, well, now we gotta tune this back. I am also, Yanni, I saw another Victor player do this kind of similar build. I am not a fan of this. I really do think Doinb is going to do 0 DPS in these fights.
Yeah, well, Victor's biggest strength is that, like, if you land 1 laser on a low health target, they're like half HP. Like, they are not really able to join the fight. And now it's just like, sure, you are not getting picked off. You're like a little sturdier if you get picked, and you're maybe able to actually escape, but you're not doing that damage anymore. You're not relying on your skills to prevent yourself from dying, and you can't actually take advantage on getting people lower. That's neither here nor there.
Feels like a Doinb build. Feels like a Doinb build.
I'm so with you. I'm so with you, brother. But see what NIP wants to do here is they're looking to take full control of this river, which they now have after clearing out some vision. The dragon is up, ripe for the taking. And NIP will finally start it up.
But they're kind of just jockeying in between two lanes right now. They moved Doinb into mid to see if they were going to fight, then said, well, we're not doing anything, so let's just, you know, move him back into bottom lane. And that means that they completely give up control of the river here. And so now it's Tian and Xiaohu hitting onto this objective. Doinb is looking to TP into this play.
All right.
And maybe they just try to trade this for mid-tier 1. I mean, it doesn't seem like Light is giving them the posture to be able to do so.
Dragon resets. Aki takes a huge chunk, but Doinb is here. And chunk out Erha. Erha looking for a way in. Light a little low on mana, but should have enough to make it through this fight. As more Victor lasers are coming through this choke point as Weibo are a little split. Teleport is coming in from Shanji. They're not going to commit Breathe's teleport, so here comes the Maokai ultimate just to root a couple of members up and make this hard. Ezreal coming through, but it is way late, and the Dragon is secured for NIP.
Well, they just committed 2 teleports, right? Doinb backed, TP'd mid, Shanji TP'd to this play. That's just going to be a turret going over to the side of Weibo. And now Breathe has a pretty big responsibility to at least shoulder some of the burden for this game, as he has a lot of gold in his back pocket. There's global gold that's being given to his team, but with how long this lane is, and you know, just in general, this does start to favor NIP, as you have so much movement speed between Doinb on this Victor. You have Misfortune as well. Their ability to like ping pong between waves is very, very good for the ninjas in pajamas. Now Weibo trying to set up around this top side, because same thing that we said 2 minutes ago was that the Rift Herald is a much more important objective right now for a team that has 6 grubs.
Yeah, it is so dangerous. You mentioned that it could bust the game wide open, and you're absolutely right. You know, it's what, 1,400, 1,500 gold thereabouts.
Yep.
You know, we've seen many Herald plays be almost like mini Baron power plays, right, where you're getting large amounts of gold because sometimes you just see the Rift Herald get piloted and knock some people up and win a fight too. You know, but we'll see what the move ends up being, as NIP looks like they are more than willing to give it up with both of their solo laners on the bottom side and no TPs.
Yep, this is the problem with them kind of allocating their TPs in the way that they did. They just have to give this objective up. And getting a little cheeky there. That was actually damage placed onto ppgod, so he won't have any home guard boots when he runs out of base, which I think is kind of funny.
It's the most tilting thing ever.
I'm okay with getting my recall not stopped and not having... It's funnier to me.
Oh, sure, yeah. I just don't want it to happen at all.
Sure.
But if I had to pick one, I'd rather get my recall.
So that'll be the Herald being taken by Weibo. Dragon spawning in 3 minutes. You have that Otacon. I think what I'm going to expect from Weibo is continuing to put Light and Erha somewhere near mid, and then Tian and Aurora can kind of continue to move around. ppgod though. Okay, no
held
flash.
His flash. You know, didn't want to go in full pursuit there, but ppgod not having a flash will be pretty important between worlds getting put down by Xiaohu as Leave gets chunked out hard. And now they've turned on to Aki bullet time, just trying to force them away. And it will be successful. The slow is out because of that Leona ultimate, as Shanji has now joined the party and has pulled Erha into the Death Realm. And the Death Realm does mean death for you, as the support for Weibo is lost.
Yeah, I like the answer of Aurora into Misfortune because it's a way for a team to get the strut passive, so the attack speed and the bonus movement speed taken off. But right there, we just got to see that Leave uses the cleanse to remove some of the slow, and I'm as much as I love what Weibo or what NIP have been able to do in some of these fights, I am starting to get worried. Because you're looking at top lane right now, Shanji is dropping some waves and particularly being able to play on the side lane to reinforce his team, but that means that Breathe is taking turrets. They've now dropped this Herald in mid. They weren't able to grab the turret, but are going to be very close to doing so if they're able to win yet another fight.
Yep, this is exactly what the doctor ordered for Weibo. This is the exact way you wanted to play your composition. Take a look at this replay. So close on getting out some of these kills, and NIP, frankly, is very lucky that nobody on their side died.
I mean, the Leona ult not going down here is really important. The fact that Leave survives as well, I'm sure the Weibo will want to kind of take that back. And this was a dangerous fight just in general here for NIP, because not only was Leave taken out, Shanji walked into this with like 60% HP. I think if they still had that Rel ultimate that Erha used to try to catch out ppgod, there's a very real possibility they could have found a kill there, as Xiaohu is barely going to be able to sneak on by, jumping over that wall. And big priority here from the side of NIP would put them on sole point in 40 seconds when this Infernal Drake spawns, but still not using these 6 grubs. A little problematic in my mind, but if they end up winning this game, then the 6 grubs will just kind of be used as a way to end the game just a little bit quicker.
Yep, it'll be there for, hey, teams with 6 grubs have a higher win rate, you know? Like, Whoopie, you know, he did it. Yeah, they haven't gotten too much value out of it. And that's because these side lanes have been, every time they've had to go, it's to tend to these side lanes and try to fix them, right? And then Breathe just comes back and wrecks them again. But it does mean that, obviously, NIP with the man advantage often in these, you know, mid-skirmishes, Shanji has really equalized that in that last fight. You could really see it. Like, that is the big difference. You know, that's why Weibo wasn't able to actually take that mid-turn.
Yeah. So, jockeying for position on the Dragon. It was NIP getting that mid-tier 1 pretty early, at least in comparison to where we are now. And they are going to put Leave right back into this lane to try to shove. Tian's going to start this up, but NIP are dropping waves in bottom lane to say, hey, we're just going to make sure that we have numbers first, and then we'll move and catch those waves a little bit later on. And Aurora can make a flank if they really need it to be, but Urha's not here, so it's going to take a while. Maybe Breed looks for a teleport.
Ezreal had come through, and you see Light is off to the side all by his lonesome. Dragon will reset, and, you know, not a whole lot of damage going down onto this top tier 2, so I wonder if
Observers, what are you showing me?
It's actually going to be worth it. Yeah.
Split cam, okay. All right, you can't see it in the split cam here, but Aurora is just below Doinb here. We're getting the Maokai ult.
Here we go, that root goes down, the Dragon getting lower, 2,000 HP, but they're shoved all the way off because of the teleports. Dragon secured for Weibo, and big blow up there onto the Leona as Tian gets to the back line, but has to flash out, and is now caught up in the bullet time. Shanji pulls Breathe into the Death Realm too, and is looking to hunt him down. Urha going all the way back in, Light and Xiaohu, their combined powers getting the job done. Doinb able to dodge out on a Mystic Shot, but Shanji out of the Death Realm, caught alone, and then Light finishes off Doinb.
Oh man, that fight could have been so good, but we see Weibo take control of space so well, and Light has just been firing away on this Ezreal the entire fight. Are they just going to be able to do this so, like, with the 3 of them? I guess now that the Light's going to be here, the Maiden is being able to, you know, provide a lot of HP and bulkiness. A great call here from Weibo. Look up the Dragon, they'll win the fight, and they'll get an Otacon. These are going to be a lot of Blood Roses going over to them.
Yeah, this is what's going to feel like the game is tilted heavily in their favor. Big, impactful teleport there from Breathe, and Shanji could not get the job done, could not take him out. And now 46, didn't count those last 2, to 10 on the Blood Petals. That's a very, very large discount.
I just feel like we're so split here. Obviously, we kind of talked about the fact that, you know, there's a TP coming in from behind them and that Aurora is a bit south, but the amount of damage that Xiaohu is able to get immediately blows up ppgod. And now look at where everybody is. Shanji kind of awkward in where he wants to fight. Tian and the rest of his team are kind of playing as a 3-man unit with Light on the side here. This engage from Urha just is so amazing and basically is the linchpin to allow for the rest of Weibo to win this fight.
Yeah, big credit to Urha there. You know, held his flash for the right time, used it, and may have put the dagger in the hearts of NIP. But the gold lead is not that different just yet. It is only about 400 gold, but now Weibo looking to firmly put themselves in the driver's seat and put this one away.
And look at the flashes right now here for NIP. No flash on Doinb, no flash on Leave. So if there's any engage, if there's another ult from Tian, very real likelihood that potentially someone gets caught out, maybe even has to force someone else's ultimates in this case. Looking at kind of items here, Infinity Edge done for Leave. Doinb does have the Leandry, so he is starting to get to that point where he does a little bit of DPS, but still probably going to be waiting till 3rd and potentially even 4th item before we see Doinb on this Victor actually do very much.
It might be too late at that point, although a nice bullet time goes down. Erha gets caught out. He get a big pick.
Slows down the game here. You can see that NIP or Weibo, I should say, are really focused on just getting around mid lane. Oh my god, wow. Xiaohu, that not landing right there is make or break between them, killing Leave and starting the Baron.
Yeah, that is crazy. Meanwhile, Shanji and Breathe in the Death Realm going at each other. The Maiden and the little minions, the ghouls, the ghosty goos, trying to do what they can to help out Breathe.
Shanji, no.
Trying to lure Breathe in, and Breathe gets caught as Aki shows up to the party and takes him down.
Great job from NIP here. The manner in which they're able to find that pick onto Urha, then they are able, or onto Tian, then they move in onto bottom lane wave. This slows down the game in their favor and also at least buys them about a minute so that Breathe is not constantly pushing on a side lane, so that Shanji can play to the other side of the map. He will have TP for this play, and it looks like NIP, they're maybe going to try to turn onto Xiaohu. As long as they got the TP, they're perfectly fine with just going straight back into mid and getting gold for their Mordekaiser.
Yeah, and you talked about how Doinb is not going to be dealing damage until like 3, probably 4 items. So this extra time, you know, meaning that Breathe is not on the map, mucking around with the side lanes again. Now he's going to have to fix this bottom lane. It just means that NIP is buying themselves more time for later. Very, very good stuff out of them. Let's see if they can keep it up, because they got to maybe do it 1 or 2 more times.
I respect Leaf so much, bro. He literally just walked up to an Aurora that already landed. Oh, never mind. All right, well.
Why don't you tell me how you really feel about that one?
7 in the morning here on the western starboard, as there is light coming through my window, and there is Lee's
light on my screen.
That, you know, caster curse on the Leaf. That's my fault. I was already glazing him a little too hard earlier, so I get it. I misspoke at the top of show. I think I said that Light was that Leaf was the best AD carry in the league, and then I remembered Hope exists. I'm getting punished. This is all just karmic retribution onto me. But
yeah, Hope wouldn't have done that.
Hope probably would have won this game already, but that's besides the point. There's a dragon here on the map. A lot of Weibo have put members towards the top side, but we do have, you know, some members of NIP in the area. I think it's a bit tough when you don't have the bullet time. When that does come up, it will kind of open up a few options for NIP, especially being able to play at range. Does mean that now Weibo are going to be on sole point, so every 5 minutes from now on is going to be a forced engagement for NIP and Weibo.
Yep, and that is worrisome if you're NIP, right? Because your Victor is not on their 3rd item just yet. You have the Seeker's Arm Guard just in case anything bad happens, but then you already see a guy like Xiaohu, right? Doing damage. Your guy Doinb not doing damage. This is generally not good.
They're probably also very happy that they got those first 2 the 2 dragons,
oh,
right?
Yeah.
For
oh
NIP,
my god,
because that is literally 10 minutes off the clock that they got to buy for themselves here. Seems like Doinb going to be going for a Zhonya, so we'll have still some of that damage. Pick on the Xiaohu!
Yeah, your damage doesn't matter if you get caught out like that and you can't go between the worlds. You will fall and NIP will turn toward the Baron.
Well, how much can they actually do off of this play? Breathe, probably going to push 1 more wave and then teleport here. Shanji preemptively getting into the pit. And now Tian and Light have to be able to make a miracle happen. Tian, the flash is available. Can he get in and make a steal?
All right, let's see if he can. Tian.
Oh, Death Realm, Death Realm, Death Realm!
Yeah, the Death Realm. He flashed in too. Tian, oh, what a mistake there. He's going to go down. The Baron goes NIP, but Breathe on the bottom side.
So he'll grab himself 1 turret, level 18, 700 gold going over to him. He's going to have maybe another item in purchase if he's really ready for it. And now with this Baron, how much work can NIP do? They have 6 grubs, they have this Baron. So alongside of Misfortune with these love taps, mid-tier 2 goes down. It's going to be a 45-second difference between Baron falling off and this Dragon spawning in 3 minutes time. Here, can Urha find and engage? He's a bit quiet this game around. We're getting the teleport from behind. NIP are going to collapse onto Breathe.
All right, Breathe is just going to try to win this 1v1 against Shanji, and Shanji cannot get the shield in time. And now Doinb chasing after Breathe. The Maiden's got to start helping out. He's got the shield from the Hex Drinker. Is it going to be enough? He's trying to stay out of the gravity field, but then he got stunned. He stepped into it, got stunned. Doinb will go golden. And down goes Breathe. Meanwhile, we still have fighting going on. Xiaohu is the one who gets stunned up in the mid lane.
I love what ppgod and Leave did there. Leave prioritizing the minion wave so that they couldn't actually take the mid-tier one. Then we're using the ult to try to see if we can force a little bit more. 3 summoner spells are now gone. The flashes from Tian, Breathe, and Xiaohu no longer available. Breathe also used his teleport, so I think Weibo are getting desperate, and Yanni, I'm feeling it. I feel this 6th game coming on through for ourselves as NIP are trying all that they can to make sure that they get a victory here in game number 2.
Shanji, even with the shielding, I mean, it's just too much damage coming out from Breathe, but, you know, I don't think Breathe is going to get this kill onto Doinb anyway if he doesn't accidentally step back into the gravity field, but, you know, it is kind of tough that you burn your flash too and end up not winning the fight overall.
Well, 55 seconds left on this dragon. Again, 45 seconds over towards afterwards for this Infernal Soul. And Weibo would love to be able to contest, but losing that Baron and then consistently losing fights is making this harder and harder for them to actually walk into bottom side jungle and get vision down. I was going to say I really wanted to see Urha step up. He has had a pretty decent performance in his first stage games here in the LPL, but this game has been particularly difficult, and I know for, like we've been saying,
maybe they're
this
going
is
to rip
a
it here.
game and a series that Weibo really want to try to win.
Urha got knocked away. Mighty's forced off Tian getting a little low. There's no Maokai ultimate as Xiaohu got chumped to about half HP. Here comes the bullet time too. Tian is just dead. The inhibitor's fallen too.
But they're gonna end the game.
This is the game. The back is coming through for Breathe, but it ain't in time. But your second next turn is gonna fall. Wait a minute, maybe a turnaround. Nexus exposed.
No,
Xiaohu trying to do his thing. Here we go. It's a 3v3, but Shanji is here too. Doinb goes golden. The Nexus is under siege. It's being hit. And
Shanji, Aki,
NIP
Doinb!
will even the series up at 1.
There we go. Super carry Doinb in the mid lane, locked in, and he's ready to take us to game number 3. This was match of the week for a reason. We wanted to see the battle of the mids here, and Doinb performing on his Victor up against Xiaohu. This is only going to get more and more tense as we go further.
Absolutely showing up in that second game where the ninjas in pajamas did a really good job of answering Breathe on those side lanes. And, you know, once that Baron happened, once that one pick onto Xiaohu happened, the entire game fell apart at the seams. It felt like Weibo were carefully crafting a way to win the game. Yep, we just got to survive to this dragon, boys. Well,
yep.
You failed. You failed the dragon check.
Happens. I mean, they lost that Baron. I thought it was a really creative look. Tian getting caught out a few times is kind of the reason that we were a little bit worried, and the only reason that they actually kind of got out of that game. I wouldn't be surprised to see ppgod pick up a player of the game for this game, just because those Leona ults broke open so many spots for NIP.
Yeah, it's going to be a little hard because, like, the cold hard facts say, yeah, ppgod, absolutely. Dude did a lot. But then you're like, but Shanji played Mordekaiser.
Mm-hmm.
I think some people will vote for that.
It was kind of cheeks. It was kind of cheeks. So he picked the Mordekaiser into the Yorick.
Yeah, no.
Dog walked in the 1v1.
Yeah, it was cheeks.
And then, like, again, his the most value he got was just, I'm gonna be pressing ult on somebody before a fight. I'm gonna make a numbers advantage for our team. That is essentially what is going on.
Yeah, it was actual cheeks. Yeah, you're so right about that. I thought about that one play where he grabbed Urha, and then I thought about that one play where he grabbed Breathe, and then immediately died once he came out. So you're right about that. Yeah, give it to ppgod. I'm with you.
Yeah, we can give it to ppgod. Things to kind of think about for Weibo. This was another game where, honestly, Xiaohu was invisible. We've had a lot of those in some of these series. Sometimes he's invisible. Sometimes he has a lot worse of a game. And the fact that he's getting pushed around by this Victor so early on, we didn't get to see him and Tian really kind of link up. I still have a lot of questions about what this Yorick is able to accomplish. They weren't able to get 6 scrubs. They then still lost on side lane. He is pushing all of these lanes, but his team is not able to hold enough space or generate enough of a lead. I think the closest that we got to this was the fact that they got 3 dragons and almost got themselves soul, but just a few different fights. The fact that Tian gets picked out twice at the end of the game makes it a kind of a done deal. And I might be coming around on this Yorick, but also like I really like if you're literally any other champion, like maybe there's a way for you to actually start and do more here for your team.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like if you're fighting 5v5 straight up, like especially with a composition like this, maybe you end up just winning the game outright. But yeah, this Yorick pick has actually been quite good. It just feels like your team has to play so much sharper, right? You cannot afford to get yourselves picked off, right? And that's been a big problem that we've talked about, right? A lot of players are having this problem where they are not at the right place. They are getting picked off, and anytime you lose somebody, it resets the clock for your team, right? Now you're not as your breathe is not as able to split push with that amount of efficacy, right? And now it's like, okay, well you're fighting 5v3, you're gonna lose that almost assuredly.
I feel some criticism I think can be levied towards the new support here for Weibo. We were saying that kind of wanted to see him step up and have bigger engagements. Some of this game is obviously I think that there's some hard angles for you to look, but with this rel we just weren't able to kind of see him put it all together in this game. But overall I think I am tentatively more excited for this version of Weibo than I have been in a couple of months. So hopefully they can get their act together for game number 3, as we are still waiting for our player of the game vote to come on through. And NIP, this is kind of just like, this feels like the both sides of them. We get the game 1 where they just look absolutely terrible, and then game 2 where Doinb is kind of walking people on Victor, and Leave on this misfortune is really, really strong.
Yeah, Leave quietly had a very, very good game. We didn't really mention it all too much, but really put in a lot of work. Had some, that one bullet time that wasn't so great. But other than that, had a couple really, really good ones, right? Maybe not necessarily getting kills, but doing a good job to zone people off, getting nice little chip damage and keep himself relatively safe for the beginning of a fight. So, good stuff from him there in this game too. But heading into this game 3, remember Weibo has been really focusing the champion pool of Doinb, and we were like, going into near the end of the game 2 draft, we were like, well, what's Doinb gonna pick, right? It's like he might be able to pick this Victor. It's like, all right, well, he's picked it. So now we're gonna have questions. What's he gonna pick? And if Weibo do the same thing, we don't actually know. It might be back to the dark technology, which did not work out in the first game.
Think about his champion pool right now. Aurora's already gone. Ryze Galio gets banned every single game. Talia's gone. Victor's gone. So, what else are we going to pick here? Because you're probably not getting Ryze or Galio if we can just assume the drafts are going to be the same. Are we going to see another Doinb Akali game? I'm a little questionable about that. And some of the other champions have not been as thorough. So, ppgod ends up winning that MVP vote. First one here in Split 2.
Really happy to see that out of ppgod. The people have seen it. They have proven that they know ball. Congratulations to the voters for being ball knowers. And congratulations to us because we managed to get 6 games on our slate today. But before we get into that last game, we are going to go to our last break. And when we return, the final showdown between Weibo Gaming and NIP. Don't miss it.